women in technology and women at tech companies, obviously in Silicon Valley, a lot of people have been saying this isn't a safe space for women. Why?
When you look at the numbers, it's 15% of women in these big tech companies, 15% of their employees. And when you look at executives at these companies, the numbers even drop way below 15% women.
As someone who worked in Silicon Valley, what do you think it is? I mean, where does this start?
I think there's a few things going on. You have the universities that are churning out engineers, mostly male. You have venture capitalists who are funding those startups who are mostly male. So the kinds of companies that resonate with them are things that they would find themselves using. They have that inherent bias. So then when they fund the companies, they're funding kind of male-driven and male-founded ideas. That's a really hard cycle to break.
It's funny when we talk about VCs and funding, and I've spoken to so many women, and a lot of people that just won't even come on camera and talk about it because they are so embarrassed. But so many women who say, I went in front of a VC and I asked for money and there was a weird power dynamic and he hit on me.
So many stories you hear about VCs will say, you know what, I'd love to hear about your startup. Let's meet at 9 p.m. at a bar. I mean, it's never appropriate to meet someone for a funding business meeting at 9 p.m. at a bar, but you hear these stories all the time. There are very few VC funds that even have a female partner. And until women are controlling the money going out to startups, it's still going to be men investing in other men.
You know, I've had a couple experiences where someone says something really inappropriate, but I remember thinking to myself something I think a lot of women think, which is, I don't know if I can say anything. I don't want to put this out there publicly because I know that the community might look at me in a weird way. And I know if I'm thinking about that as a journalist who covers tech, that so many female founders must be going through that on a daily basis and they have that fear. So what do you say to that fear?
I think it's really hard. I think women at any level are experiencing that because it's when do you speak up? Are you the one who's always whining, the one who's always complaining? I really encourage women, I think everyone in life needs to pick their battles. But if something's really bothering you, really getting to you, and you feel like it's really holding back your career, then absolutely you have to speak up.
What's at stake if we don't get on top of it?
I think that we're going to start seeing tech companies that aren't meeting the demands of consumers. More than 50% of consumers in this area are women. It's shown that when you have more diversity, when you have women, when you have minorities at the table, companies make more money. They make better products, they delight their consumers more. It is a good business decision to have women at the table.
And I will say, there's the opposite of the sexism conversation. I'm hearing it more and more from people who only talk to me on background, God help me. But you know, what they're saying is, I wanted to fire a female executive. I didn't think she was good, but I was afraid to do it. I thought that would make me look insensitive. Is there another side to this too, with the sensitivity of this conversation and everybody just kind of tiptoeing?
I think it's really difficult because you're right. I mean, there's so few female executives that there is such a big bullseye on anything that happens. If someone's not a good fit for a startup, though, at the end of the day, they're not a good fit. And we always had a mantra, and a lot of companies in Silicon Valley, which is hire slow, fire fast. Because if you're high growth, a bad executive hire can truly ruin the progress of a company. So I don't think that someone should be hired just because they're a specific gender, a specific ethnicity, and I don't think they should be kept at a company if they're not performing because of that also.